been a pretty fun preseason for the Heat so far, but I feel like this Pelicans Heat game was kind of the one true game with meaning because a lot of the guys were playing together that we're actually going to see in the regular season rotation. And the main thing, we probably just saw the primary Miami Heat starting lineup to start the season. So it looked very good in this game. Like offensively, it looked very good. Defensively, this is not. Jimmy Butler even said after the game he's not even playing defense because it's the preseason. Uh, so the offensive stuff to look at, and I feel like that's the stuff people were a little bit skeptical about. The Tyler Hero role in the starting lineup, Caleb Martin, where does he fit in? And I just want to go over a lot of the possessions we saw offensively from this five-man lineup because I'll just start out and say that Caleb Martin was a massive bridge within this lineup that we've just seen in this small stint that we saw yesterday. But just get right into it. Immediate possession early in the game. Caleb Martin, once again, I'll pause and say something because Caleb Martin said after the game when I asked him something about rim pressure was that he's taking offense to the fact that teams are putting their best players on him. And when I say best players, I mean literally their best player because they want them to take plays off because he's kind of, as he said, the weak link in that lineup, that teams are going to rest their best player on him, and he's taking offense to that and wants to make him pay. So right here, obviously Zion Williamson, he's getting that matchup. It's a swing right here. It's a quick blow by, gets him up in the air with a little head fake and swings it over to Bam. It's one thing to add that type of rim pressure. It's another thing to have this type of passing around the rim when you're drawing this many because I don't think we expected that from Caleb Martin at this time. And this is just the different dimension that he provides other than PJ Tucker, just in comparison. Another one gets right by Zion, draws two, kicks it out to Bam in the corner. I like where Bam's kind of spacing out. We could talk about the three-point shooting, but his ability to just stand out at the three and kind of have a little bit of a running start at times, run different actions, just be able to be a swing man and not have to throw constant handoffs. So right here, swing over to Tyler. It's a great look, all because Caleb put pressure on the rim, got a paint touch, and drew basically three defenders to him when he got by Zion. The third one, still early in the game, has the Zion matchup. Drives by, he draws another two. Jimmy, great cut back door, swings it. Tyler ends up making a good play in the corner, a little step back three. But that's three possessions in the basically first 3 or 4 minutes where Caleb Martin was just getting to the rim and just kind of being the creator on the floor. When you're talking about a lineup of Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo, I don't think we expected Caleb Martin to be the initiator in the first kind of stint we've seen with this lineup. But that's where the flexibility and the versatility comes into play because they can really go to different things with this lineup than they have in the past. To speed it up a little bit more, Tyler Hero, Bam, pick and roll. As I've been talking about, it's the number one action on this Miami Heat team. I don't think there's any action better because there's so many options to it right here. Once you create this 2-on-1 and a guy goes over the screen like this, as I go back one more time, once this is made, this is money right here because the 2-on-1, you make your decision from here. You have a kind of a slower big and drop. It's a lob to Bam. Easy play right there. All right, another point to make is something we've seen with PJ in the past in that starting lineup was that Bam was going to be the post split playmaker on that inner wing to make plays. PJ was going to be the hammer screen guy on the opposite weak side corner for guys like Duncan, Max, Kyle, anybody along those lines. That's just everything that we've been used to. Something we've seen a little bit differently in this game so far was that Jimmy was kind of taking the Bam role here. They were freeing up Bam a little bit more. They were having Jimmy play that little post split playmaker type guy. And now you're going to see Kyle, Tyler, and Bam on the opposite weak side. They're going to kind of split up a little bit. Bam gets in a hammer screen position. Great pass from Jimmy. It ends up in a Kyle corner three. If they're able to work stuff like that, it changes a lot and it frees up a lot on Bam and it frees up a lot on, I guess, Kyle not having to play the traditional role. And Jimmy is shown to be in the regular season much more willing to be that type of playmaker than a scorer. And I think this is why kind of the transition's coming into the Bam and Tyler scoring run on this team. Last one of this kind of barrage of clips. Bam Adebayo inverted pick and rolls. I think you've heard that probably 1,000 times because it's just kind of the inevitable because it's just so deadly because no five can guard him. And then if there's a switch, no small can guard him. So you kind of want to go to this a little bit more and go higher up. As you see right here, they're setting it at the top of the key. Bam immediately in the shot clock, flows right into it, waits for him to kind of go back to Lowry, hits the mid-range jumper. If they're able to do that type of stuff and kind of go to those inverted pick and rolls more and more in this starting lineup, the options we saw at times last season, especially when it's Max at the 2 and PJ at the 4, there was times where it got a little just stagnant, I guess, because there just wasn't a lot to get to. What this lineup shows is that there is a lot to get to. And obviously, they were not getting out to great starts last season a lot of the time. So being able to put your kind of a good five out there to start, that's kind of the point of all of this, is just an interesting wrinkle, I guess, to follow. Another one, now we're getting later in the second quarter when they got a little bit of another run. Once again, you see where Jimmy's lined up right here. Once again, in that post split, strong side guy. He gets the double, gets it out. Now Bam gets it in the post. I want to see more of this because speaking of the Bam inverted pick and rolls, if you're able to kind of get Jimmy and Bam going just kind of together in a way, not that this is a two-man game, but kind of insert, get away, let him go to work. And he was really finding comfort in the middle of the floor right here. Free throw line, inside the free throw line, mid-range jumpers. That's what you're going to want to see more of. And the thing what that leads into with this play is this, the reason I'm showing this is because once he gets a couple going, once he gets an offensive rhythm and he's scoring, for one, he's going to get those extra set of eyes because that help defender is going to be looking at him that much more because he's just that much of a threat at that point. And the other thing is once you get in the rhythm, take a look at the shot clock right now. It's at 20 seconds. He's already down by the three-point line. He wants to get out and run. And he wants to make plays quicker. Right here, McCollum's watching him. There's just a tight bounce pass to Jimmy. That's how this can work because once you get going early, it's hard to stop this, I guess, from that point on. Now, another play, Tyler Herro double drag. Kyle's going to pop out. Bam's going to roll to the basket. Ends up not really going too many, but he gets a paint touch right here. Help defender comes in. Now, usually what we'd see, not to keep comparing this to the PJ era, but PJ would kind of be staying in the corner, and then it's kind of swing, handoff, and that type of stuff. Right here, Caleb's pinching down. So he gets it on the run a little bit. He gets a little bit of a paint touch out to Kyle. Kyle now can, with his defender kind of flying out, can get by him, get another paint touch. He flips around. It's just bad defensive communication. Ends up in a wide open baseline mid-range jumper. So it's a lot of possessions to go through, and I think there was a lot more that I probably could have shown. But it shows, I guess, the diversity of their shot profile that can be seen. And this is only one game. They're going to get some more stuff. But it shows that these skill sets on the floor, I think, were a little bit – there were people that were skeptical. I was skeptical a little bit of how the Caleb in between Jimmy and Bam would work. But his improvements and his progressions have made this so much easier to kind of bridge the gap of this starting lineup heading into the season.